Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Benefactor at Chaotic Neutral Games. I'm Simon, your DM for tonight, as we join Felicia, Kate, Nick, Corinne, and maybe Rodrigo later with their adventures in Ilaria. Don't forget that you can help or indeed hinder. Check out the options in the chat bar below. You can also join our community if you're new or joined us on the YouTube. I'm sounding old now, the YouTube. By getting our Discord link here on Twitch TV in our channel notes. And if you like what we do, you can, of course, help us by becoming a subscriber. We're going to be continuing. It's been a couple of weeks, but we're going to be jumping straight in with Cora explaining just a little something to her mother, i.e., I'm not dead. So let's get started with episode 128 of The Benefactor.
Oh,
there we go. I don't know why that shouldn't have been the case.
Okay,
we are no longer muted.
Okay.
We're no longer muted, and thank you, Hermit, for our hype train. So,
my mouth and my screen.
I'm so happy we're safe from Hermit's wild magic, but I don't know about his school in the chat already.
That they were throwing it in on thick last night in Excelsior. Let's see, what have we got? We've got. I still have to resolve the hamster friend, the strange introduction of fruit and veg. They got the players susceptible to the drink that they were drinking. They got one of the characters that was supposed to be there as like an interrogatable character to escape. They brought in the 1994 Gladiators, which I was talking to Nick about before we started the stream. Felicia just put in general chaos, and I was just like, well, you know, that normally happens anyway. Somebody made Ilka which is Helen's character, able to feel what Beth was doing. So when Beth lit up a joint, Ilka got stoned. And we still haven't done reflection of powers back on oneself and the Little Arsonist Club. So, yeah, episode 13 is going to be an interesting one to wrap up. That's why Hermit, by the way, hasn't got any damned points, because he kept flipping karma points and all the rest of it to help.
To be fair, I helped out a bit with the karma.
You flipped them back. You flipped them back to black.
Exactly. Wasn't that
the
the
channel
point?
points are still on Excelsior mode. I thought to switch that over. I will do that for you now. There you go. I thought I'd done my entire list. The day I've had, I'm pretty sure I hallucinated half of it. So there we go.
Yeah.
So
Maybe.
It's annoying you can't sort of flip some of those things as a sort of profile.
You had
almost.
80k when
or
Excelsior
set profiles.
started, and now you can't even afford the.
Yes. I think we established that yesterday.
What I'd really love to see is Twitch do profiles for the channel points so that you can switch it, like for games.
Yeah.
You know,
Channel but also I mean I'd love it as well for the titles and everything, so that you can just like on a certain because every Wednesday I need to change it to my multi-stream, and it's usually the same title, same details, and it's just like, oh, God, I do it again.
Yeah, just have them stored. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, have game profiles.
That should be up and running now. Yeah. God. Yeah. We were saying though how with the Excelsior game you I started off saying, right, just give us, either whether it's going to be a good dice or a bad dice and a descriptor, and you were just like, and a lot of you were just like, I'm going to rewrite the story, or bits of it. Anyway, so when we left off, we went.
Hype train finished.
Oh, fantastic! I got an emote of a dog.
I got a dog. Yeah, I. 7 subs. Oh yeah.
Hype beard, apparently it's called. Okay. So when we left off last session, it feels like months ago now. We had we had you get to the door of Gatherall's clothing, and the very last thing was you was talking to one of the assistants when Mar Gatherall came out into the street and said, "Can I help you?"
We were in our safety circle.
Yeah.
We were in the safety circle going.
We were all gathered into our safety circle.
With Glory's wings covering us.
Okay. Off you go.
For some reason.
Yes, safety circle.
I'm just bringing up my Google Doc in case I need it, which I feel like I might. Okay. Oh, God, Jesus. Launch straight in. Okay, 5-minute call, everyone. Okay,
Alright.
So you're currently huddled up with your with the others. If there's anything you'd like to discuss, Mar Gatherall is going to be
Slightly confused.
Well, just talking to her.
Oh no, she came out. So the last thing that happened is that she got onto the doorstep. Because we were like in the hollow thing, and then she came out. Okay,
she came out on the doorstep, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, you go, Claire. And push her out. Kind of like, just...
No, I grabbed the halfling back into the safety circle, and I'm like, no, don't.
And I pulled up my wings.
Pop my head back out. We'll be with you in just a moment. Pop my head back in.
Simon, what time is it currently? Like, because, is this middle of the day? Like, I think, to be honest, Cora would probably want to wait till the end of a day when Mara's going home and meet them in Freetown. But, what sort of
time? That's the time. That's where you're at.
Okay.
Well, we're currently in front of the
Yeah. That's fine.
Bear in mind, this is kind of medieval city hours. They
it doesn't really matter what time, but if it's maybe her locking up
she'll
shop
probably
type
go when
thing.
it's a little bit after sunset.
Mm.
Yeah.
Where the hell is my? There we go. Sorry. I know that you're probably closing up for the night. Kind of want to talk. Yeah.
For a commission, maybe.
Actually, it's more family related.
She starts to look worried and says, "Is Trim okay?"
I'm stood behind Cora,
Bree?
just going, "It's okay. It's okay."
She looks at you and says, "Okay."
No, they should be as far as I know, they're fine. Maybe we could gather them all and talk.
Normally, I'd ask if you were making some sort of pun, but
Oh,
I mean, to get us all together. I mean, there's one time that we're always together, and that's the evening meal. If you wish, you can come. Any friend of Freetown, which you've always been, Cora, and farewell, of course, and well. And she gestures to the two girls and says, "They're hardly strangers anymore, especially after last Valentine's Day."
Tell you what. You head home, and we'll meet you there in 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Don't worry about the meal.
She looks at you, kind of going, it's like, she's kind of checking out and saying, "Are you rejecting my hospitality?" And there's this halfling priggishness coming out here. It's like, "You're rejecting my hospitality or something?" And she looks at you, realizes these are the saviors of the city. If they're asking you to do something, they've probably got a good reason. And she goes, "Well, I suppose so." And she
but
starts dusting
the
her
fish. They make great fish. Why are we not going having the fish?
She dusts her hands off on her apron and says, "Make it 40 minutes. I need to wrap up here."
Yeah.
At which point the shop assistant turns around and says, "Lavinia, I can do it. I've done it. 40 minutes.
Of course.
Well, two of you know where I live at least, so I'll see you there, I guess."
Yes. Okay.
She kind of furrows her brow in this is a very weird exchange. It's something to do with my family, and it's the saviors of the city it's the saviors of the city who work for the Duke. Have I not paid enough taxes or something? It's just like
she's known me for years. This is not the weirdest conversation she's been involved with me before.
Yeah, and she's there kind of going, she's kind of hanging on you really, Farewell, by the fact that you gave her the thumbs up and she's looking at you and you're not looking like...
No, I'm too busy wrestling on the floor with
you're wrestling a cat,
keep her mouth closed.
With a cat.
But you're not looking like you're either apologetic to her or angry with her or anything like that. And she goes, "Well, I guess I'll see you there then." And
I am licking Farrell's hand to get him to release me.
It's all ruffly. Stop it.
Yeah, it's like sandpaper. Yeah. So yeah, you.
Right, and then as she if she walks over, whatever, I'll be like, back in the huddle, I'll be like, "Okay, probably should have thought of this before we actually left the bar, but scatter." Scatter.
Wait, what food do you wish to get, Cora?
I don't want her cooking for us. I want us to go and find as many things as we can that are really nice and meet back in Freetown outside with everything. Maybe with people holding everything.
Okay, are we getting
Cora,
kicked out or are we making it
my
ourselves?
dear.
I missed both of those because
We have the best cook in town working at the inn we're staying at. I'm sure Noki can help us. otherwise, I'm pretty sure you can send Eclipse over to the university to take a circle to Naruka and grab meatballs while we fix some other stuff.
Definitely grab meatballs. And
Okay.
and anything else good from there.
Naruka, meatballs 40 minutes or it's free.
We need a multiple order. How do we do this?
Okay.
What do you want?
Meatballs and any other delicacy. Okay, I'm
up
up
by.
by.
The heart of Jordan.
Right.
Yeah.
Eclipse is off. He's getting meatballs.
Why was she
cat spitting dirt?
Well, that sounds about normal. Okay.
Eowyn goes, you know she cleans herself with that thing.
Yes, I'm very fucking aware.
Okay. Right. We need to go and talk
For
to.
dessert, I do know a pretty good bakery over in the merchant quarter. I can get us some crepes and maybe some other puff pastries with the custard they do.
Okay, do it. That's your task. Right, and then I'm gonna start running back towards the.
How many do we need? How many are there? Glory's mumbling as she's walking away. How many people
how many-
Go with
I
at
mean,
least
do we need to buy?
40. They're halflings. They eat like 7 people each.
And if there's too much, we'll just dish it out to the rest of Freetown. People might stop eating after I talk.
Part
It
of
won't
it to
be
be on
too
the safe
much.
side.
They're halflings.
The halflings can't be too much.
Yeah. Right. Farewell. Carpet. We'll load it up. Let's go.
Okay.
And we're just gonna fly around like we.
I assume at montage time
Yeah,
as
it's
we
like
where we all get food.
fly around
I go
the city.
to Crypt to Naruka, buy a bunch of meatballs and like other like.
I've just got this picture now of like Eclipse with like one of those like Deliveroo cyclists bags on, but rather than like
It's a bag of holding.
rather than like having to be on a bicycle, she's just Naruto running through the city at like max 7, and it's just
Well,
like
the good thing about Naruto running is that you've got your arms behind you, so you can actually cradle the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got
yeah.
like my grocery bags ready.
I imagine her going to like the university and be like, it's really important. I've got
I was about to go there.
and then
Yeah.
comes back with bags of meatballs and nothing
Yeah.
else, and be like,
That's
"It was so
exactly what.
important."
Yeah, you beat me to the punch. Eclipse dashes into the university and goes, Naruka, it's important, and runs in, and you've got the guy going, starts the incantation. There's this sudden whoosh lurch in her stomach, and she barrels out of the teleportation folly in the middle of Naruka. And there they don't seem to mind. That happens a lot in Naruka. So just teleport, cat goes meow. But yes, you do get a lot of, because you come back via the same teleportation guy, because it's funnier that way. When you're coming back with a couple of bags of steaming hot meatballs, and he looks at you as if to go, and then he does let it go, thinking, okay, she went, saved the world, and came back with some food. Sure, whatever, that kind of thing. But the fact that you saved the world so quickly in the time it takes, for example, for you to run into the market and be served to get some meatballs, makes him wonder if he should be billing the Green Organization for this one.
we could always just lie and say the Duke demanded meatballs, and as such, it'll all go away.
Yeah, chances are he's just going to shrug it off, because even if it was a case of I'll bill the Green Organization, what if Renata wanted meatballs?
Yeah,
So yeah,
she does like the meatballs.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I get all the meatballs. And then I get some other food of local cuisine. Most of them are fish based.
Okay.
He gets about 5 tunas worth of fish.
Yeah,
There's
five
at least
tunas. Do you
5
realize
tunas?
how big
Yes, I
tunas?
realize how big tunas are, but you have a bag of holding and you're a cat.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
Okay,
full.
we'll grant you that one, actually. Okay, I was about to say,
That was why I said tuna.
even somebody with strength 18 could only take maybe 3 tunas.
Yeah, Yeah. So I stuff them all in my bag of holding, and then I have it doesn't all fit, so I have like additional bags of stuff.
Okay.
And then I run back, and I'm like, I still got it.
So you get into the back into the city. It's basically the time it takes you to do this, because you just need to be served. Felicia's actually asking for crepes. Crepes are made individually.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I have already hired someone with a cart to take it from the bakery to that. So it'll be a few bags of crepes, some wienerbröd, because I love those.
It is called it's a Danish pastry. They're called
Danish pastry. They're called in English. Okay,
Yeah.
and at least three layer cakes, whatever they have in stock that day, will probably be good.
All the cakes.
Maybe some bread, because I don't know what Eclipse is bringing back other than meatballs, so it might be good to have some of that.
What do you mean you want some carbs? Well, we got protein.
so
Protein.
yeah, you get a lot of the food ready, and someone else has seen it.
Protein.
Protein. Anyway. Yeah, for any of you who haven't seen, I always say it wrong. Agretzko. Yeah, watch it. It's worthwhile. But yes, you get this food and you start walking out into all places. Freetown. Freetown has changed in the last few years.
People are confused.
You mean the last few months? We haven't been here for that long.
Well, even in the last few years, it has changed. Certainly because of people like Cora, before even this campaign started, being a lot better at things like smuggling, frankly. And so you parading into Freetown doesn't get the look of anger and jealousy that you would normally get from a shanty town and walking in with a load of luxury food. Instead, people are just intrigued. They can now afford treats of that type, but not at that excess. You've loaded up the carpets. There's a cart coming in that smells amazing. And you end up getting to the Gatherall house with a not insignificant parade of children and just generally people who are curious as to what's going on.
I come like
the perfect
barreling
opportunity for a
out.
private conversation.
I come like barreling through, like triple dashing
With meatballs.
with meatballs. Like there's still it's taking me max 10 minutes from like the meatball stand to Freetown. So the meatballs are still warm.
Yep.
True.
We're almost too quick. She said 45 minutes.
It's okay.
No,
It's probably taking glory long.
We time it perfectly. It's amazing.
No.
Yeah.
Because I can do the thing where like
Keep things warm.
I imagine for like Farewell, it's one of those ones where he doesn't need to knock. He can just walk in. So if we arrive at her house early, I can just go in. I'll get the stove sorted. I'll get something that that
you can, but you don't get a chance quite yet because one of the girls has run ahead, not knowing that it's going to the Gatherall house because she's a friend of Bree's. And so as you're arriving at the house, this little girl comes out with a very excited, older, she's 12 years old now, Bree Gatherall. And by the fact I say that she's 12 years old, she's about 2 foot high now. And she comes out, sees this huge cornucopia approaching her and just goes,
What's that?
and you can tell that she's starting to get, as she recognizes Farewell, gives a little wave and kind of gives Farewell a what the, and
Dinner.
doesn't say the last word.
Oh, 12-year-olds swear so much.
Welcome to Freetown. So the
I mean, welcome to public school.
Well, welcome to any 12-year-old, basically, but especially in Freetown.
Thing where you put the hand on the back of the head to sort of guide them, but you're not really sort of like holding on. You're just sort of gently sort of directing. And I'm like, I won't tell your mother that you said that. If you get the oven on and you help me set this all up, go on. Push it towards the door.
Her jaw drops and she goes, "You're bringing it in here?"
Well, where else would I bring it?
I don't know, the Duke's Palace or something? I thought you were going to the Raven Queen Temple. And she points, technically speaking, this would be a route to the Raven Queen Temple.
I'll be like, well, you were wrong. Now, oven, warm things, tables. Set,
I have meatballs.
She runs inside and you hear the unmistakable, "Mom!"
Don't tell your fucking... Damn
it! Inside, you do hear an older woman, older female, say, "Don't worry, she's heard far worse." And coming out, stitching something, darning something on over a darning heel, is Trim. "Farewell. It's good to see you again."
Yeah.
Meatballs.
This is Eclipse. I assure you, this is perfectly in keeping with.
I know who she is, and I've heard the tales. And she's there, so she's got a sock over a darning heel, and she's like, "Has Mum won some sort of prize?"
I was in the neighborhood and hungry, and unfortunately,
You could say that.
I flick Eclipse's ear. I'm like, unfortunately, when I mentioned perhaps family dinners came up, my friends here are accustomed to spreads, and I'll be honest, it's way too much.
Ah, well, I hope I got enough.
The cart comes.
You got just the perfect amount in the absolute most glorious of ways.
This is the only way the Tascactolos know how to bring it in.
Yeah, I mean, we're very lucky she didn't go over to the Duke's house and just hire his entire kitchen staff to arrange this. We've managed to tone her down quite significantly, if I'm brutally honest. And I've already walked into the house at this point, and I'm just like, just pull off my armor, rest it up against the side, walk into the kitchen, start sorting my hands out.
She gives you a kind of almost wise smile at the grand wizened age of 22, and she just kind of goes,
got 500 or 600 more years,
Yeah, she kind of gives a slow nod at the head, as if to go, only an Ostergald kind of thing. Stabs the needle into the heel of the into the darning heel. Gives up on holding the needle in such a way that you can see the engagement ring on her finger, and just goes, "Come in," and starts kind of getting a few bits out of the way, some bags and things that were in the hallway as have been unceremoniously dumped by her younger siblings. And you get in, and you can see that Bree is in the process of using the bellows to get the flames up. And she goes, "I want to learn magic. This is way too exhausting."
Oh, I just go, I flick a firebolt just straight into the oven.
Bree pulls it back and goes, "You're teaching me that one."
Sure.
And I dump all of I dump all the meat, all the meatballs, and then empty up the bag of holding, which has all the fish.
Bree goes mental at you, and she goes, "That's a pastry table. The meat table's over there. Were you born in it?" "Oh, you're a cat." And she starts moving it all. Bear in mind, all of these tables are no more than, probably no higher than my knee, by the way.
Yeah. Hold on. I cast enlarge on the tables. so that I can actually work on them.
Bree now is having to slam dunk meat onto the table.
Hold, no, this is not working. 1 second. I cast again, enlarge on her, so she's now much bigger. And, right, much better. You think that's good? Watch this. And farewells just begin to split off. Like, one goes out and starts doing like the table. One goes out and starts prepping the fish. One gets a pot on to keep the meatballs warm. One's going out and sort of like giving supplies to like the crepe. Like, just like I'm just stood there as like a couple of these farewells are just branching off. Like, bet you can't do that.
She instead goes, no, but I can do this, and rolls her tongue in a really weird way.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, fair enough. All right, show off.
Feeling like she's got some shred of dignity back, she puts her hands on her hips. She's now quite large. I mean, a halfling is stout. Now that you've made her the same size as a human, she's bigger than a dwarf.
Yeah. And for that, you're on fish gutting duty. Go on.
She picks up a knife at 12 years old.
Yeah.
And goes, oh, you mean like this? And starts to process the fish like a pro.
Oh, those are some nice. Those are really nice skills, and I show her some tricks on how to process fish.
She knows all the tricks.
She says she shows how to do it. In reality, Eclipse is sneaking pieces of fish to eat.
Oh yeah, that too.
I go,
and you can't tell because my passive stealth is at a 25.
We don't need to tell. We know you're doing it.
I can tell.
Trim walks in and Trim comes in and pats Farewell just above the butt because she can't pat him on the shoulder. Yeah, you've been around halflings. You know this is normal. This is like being patted on the shoulder. She comes up, pats you kind of in the small of the back and says, she grew up around the sea, Farewell. She knew her way around a gutting knife by the time she hit 7.
It's been a very busy sort of 6 months. You'll forgive me. Do you know I died?
He keeps bringing that up. It reduces the empathy a step every time he says it.
Got the fish.
Besides, it was only once, and you got up immediately.
I have
a new body. But...
You couldn't even get my body back. It got eaten by sharks.
Trim's just sat there with again, this kind of almost experienced worldly smile on her face, her hands on her hips, and says, well, you seem to get over it.
Oh, you're no fun now you've gotten older. There was a few years ago, you would have been so enthralled with that I could have strung that out as long as I wanted.
I still want to hear the tale.
What was the first thing you did after you got back? All right, start a interdimensional war.
Now that's a story I want to hear. Now that we can have over dessert.
I can tell that story. I stare at Cora.
In my entire defense, I didn't know it was going to end up like that way, and all I did was drink. When is drinking ever? No. Anyway. That is a story for the table, not for a story with that. So unless you're helping cook, get out of my fucking kitchen.
It's not your kitchen, Farewell.
I think it is today.
It is today. I am deciding that this is Farewell's kitchen, and I only want primordial in my kitchen. And you just start hearing what sounds like basically
rushing
rain.
Water.
Yeah,
rain,
rushing water and rain is he's just shouting commands. But there's tiny little water droplets coming from the other Farewells as they're mimicking back as he's just sat there controlling them all. It's
I stopped babbling in thieves' cant.
Bree takes a sip of water and just gargles a bit and carries on gutting the fish.
I won't tell you just how offensive that is, young lady. If you were any other person, I would have to demand satisfaction. I hope you know that.
She just gives you this completely defiant smile. Trim, again, with this very warm smile, just kind of gives a bit of a sigh, walks off slowly to the front room. Milo does his usual thing of perching by the door and looking in.
Oi! You don't get away with that. Table.
I don't have to speak primordial. I'm on this side of the door.
You don't have to speak primordial on this side, on that side of the door. However, what you do is need to find some human-sized chairs. You know where mine is, but you need some human-sized chairs for the other two.
I'll go get some.
Good plan.
He dashes out the front door.
Oh, dear God, he's going to go steal some chairs. Eclipse!
What?
How can you chase after him? I think he's going to go steal some chairs.
You want me to help him steal the chairs?
Yes.
Eclipse, what I don't know doesn't hurt me.
Okay. And I go after.
Right. Now that we've appropriately turned this entire place into an efficient working machine, I turn to Cora. What are you doing?
Cora's like, looks like she's slightly panicking. She's trying to enjoy everything, but is also slightly panicking.
That's why I was happy with everybody kind of jumping in.
Cora's hands.
That's why I was liking everybody jumping in, because then Cora's just there kind of like, yes, please take all the attention away from me just for a short while. I just need a minute, just a minute.
Yeah, I switch to Elvish and I go, this would be a very good opportunity for you to perhaps change.
You think?
Yeah, and I would suggest maybe, have something prepared for when your dad shows up. We can explain you.
Oh, right, yeah, that's
you
happening
are really,
today
really
as well.
easy. Your dad?
I
don't have an answer for that one, even though it's entirely my fault.
We can I mean, we can come up with something about that. We're magical.
Yeah.
I don't want them to have a heart attack before they get.
Post-meal is always better than pre-meal. No one's ever. People are less angry with full bellies.
Exactly.
I also recommend copious amounts of wine. I've found that also helps.
I just feel like I don't think anyone will eat a thing if I do this too soon.
Yes.
So,
food and wine, and then earth-shattering revelations.
Yeah. I mean, what could be? People might just throw up what they've just eaten, but other than that, at least they got a full belly, right?
And there's going to be spares. I mean, Eclipse has bought enough tuna to last a month.
Yes, I noticed that. I mean, we did only say meatballs, but of course, what was I thinking?
Well, you know what she's like. She'll go through like 2 or 3 meatballs and then gorge on 70 pounds of tuna.
That's true. That's true. I mean, that's the point, though. Something for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Probably everyone in Freetown, looking around. But
oh, I mean, if they didn't know that we were here, they certainly do now.
I think so. Okay, this is fine.
This will be fine.
And I'm just gonna, Cora's just gonna sit down at the table with all the crazy characters.
The 10,000 yard stare.
Yeah, just sitting there and waiting for the time where she has to actually start speaking about things.
So very briefly, when Eclipse goes out, you see that that Milo isn't going to steal the chairs. He comes out just outside the front doorstep and goes, "Mr. Trescothic, we got big uns. We didn't realise we were going to have big uns. Can we borrow your chairs?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure. You got some lads to go and carry them?" At which point there are lots of volunteers from the kids that are outside. It's like, "Oh yeah, I'll help bring them in. I'll bring them in." And he goes, "Yeah, I need let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, actually 6. My sister's just gone big. That's how many we're going to need. And he goes, oh,
Where's off?
He goes, sure, I've got 8 around my thing, but not the one with the arms on it. That's my share. And he goes, oh, thank you, Mr. Treskothic. Picks a few kids tactically because he realizes he's gaining favor with them, and and they all dash off into another house in the street. And sure enough, he was also not too. He also picked for a different reason, in that you notice that he hasn't asked any other halflings, because these are big old chairs for a halfling to carry. So he's got a half-orc girl and a dwarven lad and a few others who would be able to carry these chairs. And he comes out and says,
then you've got a
this
cat to supervise. Oh no.
I mean, mostly Eclipse is just watching this. He's not.
I'm supervising and I'm helping. I'm actually helping. I'm not the debilitating helping.
Yeah. These random kids come in and they're kind of looking and all the rest of it. A few of them do say, "Oh, hello, Cora," because you're a known face around here. You've been a known face around for about nearly 2 years now, coming up to 2 years. Because you were 22 when you became Cora, and you're 23, coming up on 24 now. So the chairs come in, they get set around the table, and you do hear the telltale creaking of the landing upstairs as washed and dressed, not in her Sunday best, but in a kind of shantytown pride, was it too poor to paint, too proud to whitewash type clothing that Mark Gatherall is normally wearing. There is a certain amount of extra finery to it because of her increased station, but there's also a humility to it. You have a feeling that a lot of her money goes into Freetown itself rather than here. There's 1 or 2 items that you can see that are new or considered to be merchant quarter or city bought. And normally you'd only find those things if somebody smuggled it. But yeah, it's clear that she spent a little bit of money, but not all of it on herself, especially not considering the opulence of her shop. And she comes down into this complete circus and goes, "Well, that's why you said you didn't want any food. Apparently, you've just decided to empty everybody's larder onto my front doorstep. I hope you're not going to be going before we're doing the dishes, Mr. Barebones."
No, don't worry. I've got a plan for that. And like all the other farewells just go.
You get stranger every time I see you, Vicar.
That's very true. He's a father now.
There's a row of farewells that walk past the clips, and one by one they just do like a train of just like crossing her hands over her stomach. She says, "Where I come from, father's a completely different qualification, and in some cases, a sentence." I can safely say I think not guilty of that one.
I should imagine so too. Gallivanting off doing all those dangerous things. I'd be dragging you by your ear back home if that was the case. Get you an honest job.
Well, I've never had an honest job.
Well, of course you haven't. You're in religion. So.
I mean, you're not wrong.
She looks at you as if to say, "I'm damn right, I'm not wrong."
You didn't have to say it, but you're not wrong.
So, you're going to be committing me to an evening of slovenliness and being waited on hand and foot, are you? Oh, you're a mean man, but I'll accept it this one night.
I mean, to be cruel is to be kind. Is that the right saying?
Oh, that's just people making excuses and not knowing what they're saying.
Oh, fair enough.
Anyway, don't forget to make that sharpen that knife. I can see from here that it's a little bit dinty.
Nah, he'll be fine.
Well, he might be fine, but the knife won't. And
he'll sort it. Don't worry.
You know, she's still very much in command here. You know, just making sure you know it. And she actually goes and settles on the same table as Cora and says, I don't know whether to say men or biggins. They just don't get it, do they?
Yeah. I mean, at least I'll do the dishes. Or one of them will. I'm not.
I should damn well hope so as well, making a mess in someone's house. It's only the right thing to do, isn't it? You've got the right end of the stick. You're not having to worry about any shenanigans or, you know, men's troubles. Got yourself a fine young lass, I've heard.
Yes. I have. Yes.
Foreign girl, though, yeah?
Yeah, she doesn't live around here.
She's royalty.
Royalty, indeed. Well, when you're mucking
from
in with
another plane.
When you're mucking in with this lot, and she points to Gloria and she says, when you're mucking in with this lot, no offense, dear, there's you know, you're gonna end up rubbing shoulders with all sorts, aren't you? As long as she's not too hoity-toity, you know, you got to have somebody who's still got her feet on the ground, you know.
She's got her feet on the ground, a ground, at least.
A ground.
Well, you know, like, yeah, she lives quite far away.
Yeah, foreign is what I've been told.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
Well, there's nothing wrong with foreign. We meet foreign all the time here.
Yes, I mean,
you know, they come off the boats, and by and large, they're decent folk. To the point where, you know, I think I've met enough foreign that I know that, you know, you can't judge a book by its cover. You get arseholes here, and you get arseholes everywhere else.
That
Very true.
is true, having been around a bit.
Yeah, and I've been meeting a lot more of them now. When not arseholes, but people, you know, and foreigners as well. When with the new shop. I must admit, it's really opened my eyes. I never realised how much more there was to see of the world, and you know, it's only 10 minutes walk away.
How is the shop? How's it going?
Oh, it's all go, isn't it? It's all go. I never thought I would be part of haute couture. Is that right, or is that food? I always forget. Sorry, I'm terrible with Elvish. But yeah, I mean, when I first started, and I realised that apparently I had a little bit of magic in the fingers. I started doing it and realised that not many people had applied to that. And I have a theory about that, and that is because I spent all my time around, you know, fixing things and mending clothes and things like that. When my magic turned up, it turned up in the needles, didn't it? Whereas other people, because you know, a lot of people like to fight, that's why most people here just can throw around fire and lightning and things like that. What use is that, really? You know, I mean, the Magi Domestica, on the other hand, stand-up people. I won't have a word said against them. But you got all these people who just learn how to throw fireballs and things and go gallivanting off, burning things. I mean, you know, get a job, you know. So, I mean, no offense. I know that you're adventurers. Some people call you heroes. I don't know which one you prefer. But you know, it's when it came to me, when the magic came to me, it was, yeah. I mean, I didn't realize that what kind of side effects there were with magic.
Side effects?
Yeah, it's. I guess part of magic is being magical. I can see why
depends on the magic, really.
She turns to you and says, "Oh, and I suppose all of that shenanigans that's happened around you, my girl, is just from eating too much brown bread. You all right?"
Oh no! This is just heritage setting in.
Hers is actually genetic.
It is.
Well, you want to be careful with heritage magic and generic magic as well, right? Because look at you. You got wings and claws. Now, I don't judge, right? I have a feeling you're going to have
Bet
trouble
she is
with some of
judging.
the chairs, but yeah, you know, I think magic is as magic does. You know,
Oh yes.
it came to me, and I'm making clothes that, you know, pick you up a little bit. Some of them are hardy, some of them are work clothes, some of them are fashion. Maybe get you a good husband, you know, that kind of thing. But for me, that's it. That's my part of the community. Community magic. I like the sound of that. But yeah, there are side effects, though, like the dreams and things like that. I mean, I guess that's it. Once you start looking into the fantastical, it starts to be part of you.
What kind of dreams?
Well, that's rather personal, isn't it?
Well, I mean, bad dreams, or?
Well, not all dreams are good. Good, kid. I mean, yeah. I mean, I find myself having dreams of working, toiling. You know, and I'm wondering if that's how I managed to do the dresses, because the dresses, when I make them, don't take that long. But I've been told by people who wear far too big hats that enchantment doesn't work that way, and it can take months to do even the most basic enchantment.
Laura could wear a big hat, she would say the same thing.
Depends on the enchantment, but enchanting clothes.
I think they just spend too much time, you know, dressing it up. Too much of the chanting and the dribbly candles and all that. I mean,
no one uses dribbly candles anymore.
You literally have a closet full of candles that you light and become dribbly.
Erwin goes, they're not candles. And
sorry, those are mine. I need those.
The dribbly candles.
Yeah.
He lights them all when he has baths.
I mean, you don't complain when I'm picking you up from bleeding to death behind boxes.
She's talking
Not
to
you.
the cat.
Yeah. You I usually have to patch you up because you decide to headbutt something.
Sometimes on purpose.
Eowyn lands on Farewell and says, "Don't listen to them. I like the patchouli ones."
I tried not to use those because it's a rather particular smell, but thank you.
Lavinia, what? You make normal clothes too, right? As in...
Oh, yeah, of course I do. I make normal ones all the time. But I make them a lot faster now, I noticed.
Right.
When you sleep, do you sleep and stitch the dress that you wanted to make? Or is it just... Because you mentioned you talk about, like, toiling, and, like, there's just, like, Farewell swapping places all around us.
It's just general toiling, you know. I don't remember a huge amount about it. I remember just before I wake up, I'm exhausted, you know. I'm you know, and then I wake up and I'm kind of refreshed. But what I am is like I'm like a irritable. No, yeah, kind of like I feel fussy. Like,
I look at the youngest daughter, who's like actually now almost like up to my probably chest, and I just look at her that look like, don't you fucking say anything. She's not noticed the fact that you're twice the size you should be, and do not bring any attention to yourself where she mentions that she's irritable. It won't end well for you.
You know how it is when you, I don't know, some of the lads say that they wake up grumpy, and it's only when they've done a full day's work that they feel balanced again. Some people, it's running or swimming or something like that. But that's how I feel. I feel like unless it's done, until it's done, I don't feel like I can be at peace again. And so I go into the workshop and I make something. And by the time I finished making that, sure, I'll go off and I'll make normal stuff and bash out a few aprons and things like that. But of course, when she gestures and starts wiggling her fingers, and a needle and thread comes off the sideboard and just starts to snake itself around in front of her. That lovely tailor bloke down near the Hawk and Harness, he taught me this. And if you remember,
he's the elf guy.
Yeah,
I say elf with quotation marks. It's got the needle.
And
it means I can stitch a lot faster now.
And it hasn't Has it, is it getting harder? Are you getting more exhausted?
I'm getting more productive. And I guess maybe in the dreams maybe it's more pronounced. I'm not, you know how it is when you start working at something? It's like when you go down and you start working in a factory for the first time. You work in the factory, you the first day is like hell on earth. You come home, you feel like your back's breaking. By the end of the week, it's just a little hard. You get some calluses and things like that, some cracked skin. 6 months into the job, it's just another day, another day of work, and you go in there and either you've blocked out all the aches and pains or you just don't have them anymore.
Eclipse, what's she talking about?
Fish.
Huh.
And, yeah, but the thing is, I'm not getting that part where it's becoming normal now. It just always feels the same. It always feels like at that moment before I wake up, I'm exhausted. I wake up and I'm not exhausted, but I have a mission. I'm a woman on a mission. And yeah, it doesn't happen every night. I don't make magical clothing every night, but it's been increasing. I did 4 this week.
Okay. Good to know.
Milo steps up and says, Mum's been paying to help rebuild Freetown. You saw the scaffolding over on the corner. Mum paid for that.
Well,
good on her.
That's very generous.
That has nothing to do about generous. Those sailors there, they put their lives on the line to keep us fed. Now that they're old and their backs are breaking and they're, they only got 2 teeth in their head and they're on one side of their mouth, we can't have them in a hovel. Now that bunkhouse needs to be repaired. We need to pay them back. Every time they've gone out there, they've not known if they're going to come back, either sunk in some storm or, ended up being ripped apart by some Sahagin. Nah. I think that's owed by all of us. And now that I've got a bit of extra coin coming in, I'm ready to pay my dues.
Well, as long as you're keeping some for yourself.
I was about to say, I make sure there's food on the table. Not today.
Oh, there's food on the table. Talking of which...
Yes, speaking of which, everybody needs to wash up. Dinner will be served in 5 minutes. I'm just waiting for my sauces to finish, and we should be ready to serve, I think.
Milo, and he goes, Mom, you don't need to. And she goes, and his hands turn blue. I will know if you've not washed that off.
Now that is actually a very good trick.
I'm sorry, where did you learn that from?
Same way that I can dye clothing.
I give Farewell like not visibly with her and stuff. I try and give Farewell a bit of a concerned look. There
is nothing but concern on Farewell's face.
Yeah, okay, well, I think
he's like.
Well, she gives him a look that is like, yeah, I know what you mean. But anyway, this is not the time.
So that's an interesting way of doing it.
Oh, you should see what happens now when I stare him down. That boy's not going to be able to get into mischief around me. In fact, none of the boys around here can get away with mischief around me. I can make them stop in their tracks. Now, when I was younger, and she kind of rearranges herself, when I was younger, I was able to stop men in their tracks through a completely different means.
Come on!
That's
practically family! I mean, honestly, you're supposed to be watching your hands.
And she's conspiratorially winking at Cora going, but of course, that's woman's magic now, isn't that? And that's,
Of course.
Cora has a slight, my mum's talking about ooey things look about it.
Right.
Well.
And she gets up from the table and says, well, lead by example. I better go wash up.
Yeah.
And she goes up and washes up, and the food comes out.
Hold on.
Okay.
I've been preparing.
He has plans.
Yes. Thank you very much. As you sit at the table, you are, of course, served by... I go to Glory and I'm like, you got any illusion spells?
No, that's Eclipse.
Okay, thank you. Eclipse!
Yes.
I need you to make my farewells look like wave tears.
I've got minor illusion. Is that enough, do we think?
You can, but it's like I have silent image. I can do silent image.
Sure. I will say, because it's not having to do any major mechanical effect, with a little bit of concentration, you can convert. You realize that all of their images are hubbed off Farewell. You don't have to put the illusion around Farewell, but you can use them as a hub to transmit the spell to all of the copies.
Fantastic. So as you all sit at the table, and of course in the centerpiece there is a large steaming bowl of meatballs surrounded by several thick and heavy jugs of brown sauce. We don't call it gravy, it's a sauce. It's been made.
Mm-hmm.
As such, it's lovely and rich and thick, and it has, of course, rather than normal sort of bread, there's actually dense sort of wafers that's been made with almonds and citrus added to the dough to complement the meatballs and the sauce. There's a big bowl of sort of almost bite-sized potatoes that Farewell's boiled with garlic and other sort of herbs that then have been covered quite generously in butter, rock salt, a bit of sort of fresh green herbs, and just a sprinkling of black pepper. Then there is a whole tuna that has been cooked down with in a sort of almost sweet teriyaki sauce that is just put in front of Eclipse. And then there's a selection of tuna sashimi that again is put in front of Eclipse, but is more in the middle of the table, suspecting that if anybody is quick enough, they may get to try it.
Exactly.
And then there's a load of the other stuff that's been sort of salted and put on there, and then there's a little in front of everybody, there's a little tiny bowl, because they're only halflings. It's halfling bowls of what is in effect potato and onion soup. It's French onion soup, but just made out of whatever Farewell could get his hands on. So rather than like a bread to soak in the top, it's more like a potato, because he couldn't find any more bread because he used all the stuff to make this stuff before. So he's like, enjoy.
When it's all presented in front of them, there's two sides to it all. First of all, they've been they're having to accept they don't know why this is being done for them.
Don't know why, but there's lots of good food.
But then the halfling genetics kicks in. This is a feast. Halflings love a feast. And there's a moment of resignation on Lavinia's face as she just goes, you know what, let's just enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And she grabs hold of a fork, grabs hold of a spoon, brings it to her mouth, and she goes, well, that's not too bad. Oh, that's halfling. That's halfling for it's bloody amazing, by the way.
Yeah. I'm used to it. Wine?
Always. And she puts a goblet, her own goblet as well. She takes it down herself from the sideboard. Puts it on. Of course, it's not a small goblet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you start tucking in, and she goes, no, I understand where your concerns might be coming from, but as I say, I just think that this is something that's owed. I think everyone says that magic comes from wisdom and intelligence and things like that. I've never been one for intelligence, but I think I collected a fair share of wisdom with all the various challenges and sorrows I've had through my life. So yeah, I yes, it shocked me when it first turned up, but you know what? Now that I look back, it kind of all makes sense, really, doesn't it?
Out of curiosity, just strange curiosity. Did anybody come round and make you an offer to help with the shop, or make any sort of agreements with you?
Oh, hundreds of them.
No, I mean more specifically, not like in commissions, but more along the lines of, "Ooh, you look like you are struggling. Perhaps I can help with this." That sort of thing.
No, we had a couple of people trying it on, but I just kept them. I just told them where to stick it and told them to go away. But no, we didn't have many of that. We had people who were just like, they wanted to be investors and things like that, which basically meant that they owned half the business and I did all the work. And as I said, I told them to sling their up. But no, I wouldn't say there was anything like that. No.
Strange gifts that appeared out of nowhere.
She kind of looks and goes, "Okay, that did happen."
Do tell.
Well, you see, this interfering busybody turned up one day with a load of cloth and gave it to me, no questions asked.
It's not a nice way to talk about me.
I do believe she got you there, though.
You can see that the red wine has brought roses to her cheeks, and she goes, "No, I've appreciated all of the gifts, thank you. I've
trying my best."
No, it's been
hand reaching over to Session.
It's
claws reaching out, grabbing as much as possible.
There's at least 2 on each claw.
Yeah.
Just like ow.
To be fair, that's how I would have sashimi if I had claws. But yeah, so she goes, "Yeah, I mean, that first consignment got me thinking, and of course because I got it for nothing, I started giving it out, and suddenly everybody was wanting some. And I said, that's it. That's all the cloth I got. I ended clothing a lot of people. People went and got jobs with that stuff as well. It was really good. And then the second consignment you sent me, that was, I guess that's where it all started, really. Yeah, and such lovely colors as well.
Second?
All those blues and greens and things like that, and all that lovely lace trimming and things. There wasn't much there for the boys, you understand, but that's why I went into dresses, which is why mostly I'm known for dresses now. But it means that if I'm putting the girls in decent dresses, I've got good linens and things like that I can turn into things like chef's whites and aprons and overalls and things like that. So I guess it all works out, doesn't it? If you've got more of the pretty stuff, that means some of the other stuff can be turned into workers' clothes.
Well, we didn't come around and bring that second batch, right?
No, you sent one of your friends, didn't you? So
yeah. Who was that again, though? I can't remember who we sent.
It was a lovely lady. She was that Aladrin girl, Arletta, something like that. I can't remember, but yeah, lovely girl.
Was she a winter Aladrin?
I wouldn't know. I knew she was Aladrin.
Was she bluey kind of color?
Kind of blue complexion.
Yeah. She was wearing some of the blue material. I had wondered if she'd taken some of that stuff for herself. Not that I would mind, of course. I'm not greedy, but yeah, lovely girl. Lovely girl. She was silver hair, lovely silver hair.
Huh. Do I recognize the description at all?
Sounds for all the world like a winter Aladrin.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was that long before the table arrived?
That was about a week or so before it. I mean, the table arrived just after I realized I had the gift, and I don't know. Maybe I made it. I don't know. I did think it was from you lot, but nobody said it was from you lot. So
not from us, no.
But they did say that the cloth was from us.
Oh yeah. The girl, she said it was from her friends. Yeah.
From her friends.
From my friends, which was you.
Right. Sorry. I can't remember what we told her. I don't remember if we said it should be a surprise, or something. Yeah. I look around at everyone with a sort of like, this didn't happen, did it? Oh boy.
Glory will actually use message to like confirm for everyone, like, we didn't send that. I clearly remember picking out the cloth with farewell for the first thing, round, but we did not do the second.
No. We came around ourselves with the first lot. Mm-hmm. Second lot clearly is the Winter Queen sending someone.
Yeah.
And how is how is she, by the way? Because she was a really insightful girl. We sat and we nattered for what seemed like hours.
Really?
Yeah.
To be honest, I haven't seen her for a while.
All right. Did you know that she lost a love as well?
Did she?
Yeah. She lost her partner as well. Cuts her to the bone. It does still to this day. Bless her, poor thing. I mean, I understand, but to a certain amount, I've had to move on, haven't I? I've got family, I've got community, I've got people that depend on me. I still miss him. I still miss him, but she seemed like she was never going to move on. But she only those people who they keep themselves busy because if not, they start thinking it's the worst thing they can do. I saw that in her. My heart went out to it. Did really did.
We will go talk to her, I think, and
make sure she's all right.
Yes, yeah, we'll do that.
After we've been traveling so much, it's hard to keep in contact with everyone.
Yeah,
you kind of have to split it up who you talk to every time you're back in the city.
Talking of family, we it's kind of why we're here. With the mine recently and everything, and the
happened again. I hear this time they only lost 2 people, which better than last time, I say.
Yes,
we helped.
Yeah,
but I have heard from a Dicky Bird that she's finally getting the sack, and you see as she does so, as she says that, her face goes dark. This real kind of gritting of her teeth and furrowed brow. She goes, long time in coming, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Long time in coming.
Yeah, she's not gonna be around anymore. So stop it.
Just between us, like two don't worry. I think the press understood it too. With we may have laid into her a little bit when we met her in the mine.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, you have my thanks.
It was quite hilarious, really. She was fumbling a lot.
Oh, you'll forgive me if I don't laugh.
You've been through a lot. It's why Farewell stuck around a lot, and
well, he's family now, and she kind of punches him in the leg.
Shut yours! Ow! 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 Ow!
You still got a good punch. You could do it harder. He pretends he's not tough, but
I'm going easy on him. He brought food to the house.
Yeah, that's true. Stop mumbling. I can hear the water rushing. Jeez.
Yeah, there is a primordial.
It's like
fucking ungrateful halflings.
Like bubbling water.
Fucking halflings.
I have something I need to tell you, and it isn't easy to tell you, but food helps. And wine, and I down like
a bottle.
Glass. Yeah, pretty much. Like I down a very big glass. Your eldest, Tara.
God rest her soul.
I spit like I'm drinking like a.
I instinctively move slightly out of arm's reach.
What if?
Yeah, well, how about you go get the cake?
Good answer. Stand up and I walk off to go get some cake.
We've traveled a lot and learned a lot and done a lot, and what if we could tell you something that might be shocking but good news?
I'd say, come out with it, girl.
I look around at like all the gatherers, and I'm like, and I just very slowly I just change into Taro, like, and just sort of watching their faces, checking they're not about to like faint, especially the mom. And it's like,
so when you change, it's not a glamour.
it's what?
When you start to change, you intend for it to be a glamour, but as you do so, you can feel your physical form changing.
Okay.
It's subtle to start with, but then you can just feel the contours of your face changing. You basically have unwittingly cast alter self.
Okay.
And you can see as Taro starts to appear. The reason why I've got this glass.
Don't drop any referrals.
Don't worry, it's not sugar glass. If I could have got hold of sugar glass, I would have done it. But no, instead, what happens is you can see that as Taro starts to appear from you, you can see that frost starts to freeze the goblet in her hand. What kind of sick joke is this?
Not a joke.
It's not a joke.
It's not a joke, Mum. Hi.
And the goblet. I would point out this is a pewter goblet, so it gets frozen to the point that shatters pewter. Shatters in her hand as it goes down to near -200. And you see that God, who would be here? That everybody would be here.
That was the point. Everybody would be here.
Yeah.
Bree immediately, she's shrunk already. Bree immediately buries her face in Milo's shoulder and starts crying uncontrollably. Milo is looking at you kind of angry. He's still not entirely sure if this is a trick. And Trim grabs her stomach.
There was no good way to do that.
Yeah.
How long have you known?
I've been me all along, in a way.
He's gonna kill you, Clara.
I just...
Taro.
Why? How? What's? I've known you. You've come here for meals.
Why do you think I came?
But why did you? Why did you?
Because we thought somebody was trying to kill her, and that if she remained dead, it was safer, and thus you'd be safer.
You could have trusted us.
It's not about trusting you. It was about trusting others. I didn't want to put you in danger. Someone attacked us for a reason. I didn't want to
Family
lie.
are there for when you're in danger. And when she says that, you do see that the
Let's go, Glory.
the soup
And drag Glory out.
freezes in the bowl.
Oh, Jesus. That is...
Oh, you're not supposed to be able to do that.
Yeah, she
I'll
flash
drag
freezes
it
about. She flash freezes about maybe a pint of soup.
You're really not supposed to be able to do that.
I subconsciously tell Eowyn if she can message back to Enola and the Summer King that, or maybe to Enola, not the Summer King necessarily, that the Winter Queen might have a hold on her mum. Just okay. This is probably not good. Like heads up, and we might need to do something about it. A little worried, kind of thing. Like, there's this.
Enola goes. Not Enola, sorry. Eowyn goes. Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. And there's a popping sound as she just completely plane shifts away.
Yeah.
Lavinia is looking at you, not with hatred, but with just a complete lack of understanding. And she says, You could have come to me any time. The hordes of hell could have been at your back, and you could have come to me.
I
Damn it, Gil! You're stupid and as hot-headed and as stubborn as
you.
As stubborn as your fucking mum. And at times as much of a stupid cow.
Like, don't think that I didn't want to come back. Why do you think I
He was
hung
pretty
around
stupid,
Freetown
yes.
so much?
But you didn't want to hurt your siblings, and you didn't want to hurt the folk around here and stuff. And
which is why she had the Farewell deliver gifts instead.
And she turns around and slaps Farewell. I suppose you knew as well.
Yes.
I have the right to call you an interfering busybody anytime I like.
As if that would have ever stopped you before.
Yeah, but now I got the right.
Fair. But, to add on to that, you have kind of seen what happens when us lot fight. There is a lot of collateral damage. We didn't need that bringing here. It was safer to take it elsewhere.
She points over to a part of the wall, which kind of didn't make sense, but you're kind of busy. It has a bunch of household implements on it. It has a laundry hook. So with a big vat of laundry, the laundry hook is what you kind of hook it in with. There's a meat tenderizing mallet and a marble rolling pin. Beautiful thing. That's there. And they're on the wall like a pair of crossed swords and a shield. She said, that's what happened when we had demons at our door.
Yeah, but we fixed that.
Yeah, all of us fixed it. The entire damn city.
Yeah. That's a fair point. Well presented.
And the Freetowners more than most. The turning of the tide, they are calling it, the bards. The time that you opened the doors, and who was behind? And she crosses her arms over her stomach and kind of there, brooking no argument on this.
And
she's not smiling.
Very, very good and well presented points.
Also, not to add on to everything, but there is another bombshell that needs to be dropped.
Oh,
I don't want to hear about anything else right now.
No.
Yeah, time and
it's...
place. Cake? Cake, anyone? Cake?
Cake might be a good thing right now.
Cake?
And she goes, I'm not hungry. Which for a halfling is a very serious sentence.
She's so bad. She's so bad.
Yeah, well,
she gets up out of her chair and she starts walking over to Cora.
I just start handing out slices of cake to everybody.
There's one chocolate cake, one vanilla and strawberry cake, and as well as one with a Swedish princess cake, but in fantasy form.
Okay.
I lean over to Glory. I bet you 5 gold that she's gonna punch Glory. Gonna punch Clara.
She's gonna hug her.
Freeze her to stone. Who knows?
Lavinia's flesh. That sounds like I'm about to cut her up. Lavinia's skin feels cold to the touch. As she places her hands on your shoulder and she goes, "Look, you may have been through a lot, and you may have got wise and worldly and strong and all the rest of it, and everything I knew you were before you knew it yourself. But we're halflings. We know how to punch above, right? And I know there's a lot of things that you've learned on the road, but there's a lot of things you learn at home as well. There's a lot of little wisdoms you learn from the common folk, which you've been distant from and probably haven't picked up. Probably don't even notice your sister's pregnant. At which point Trim goes, "Mom!"
I think Cora does suddenly realize, like, she hadn't noticed that her sister was pregnant.
What?
I did a couple of subtle ones, but
I picked up on it.
I noticed the grabs the stomach. So yeah.
She puts her hand on her stomach when she was shocked, and she goes, "All those tales we hear about people going off and going a little doolally because they've gone off and got all these, these magic swords and whatnot. You know why they do that? Because they leave behind their soul and center of who they are."
I kind of glance at her cold hand on my shoulder and kind of like just acknowledging that she's saying this when,
She kind of keeps you at bay for a while. Just, she's got her arms at full length, which for a halfling isn't a very long length.
No.
She keeps your arms and she's kind of looking you in the eye with her hands on your shoulders, which she has done to you in the past. It's always been a way for her to tell you something that you need to focus on. She did that when she told you that your father had died. And she looks you in the eye and says, "Do you understand, girl? I need you to make me a promise."
What?
But no matter what happens to you, no matter where you go, no matter what trouble you're in, no matter, I don't even know examples to give you. It feels like the stuff that I hear from the bards is too fantastical, but you're probably going to turn around and say you've done worse, and maybe I need that a bit at a time.
We did outrun a kraken once.
That kind of thing is what I'm saying. I need to have a bit of a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
and then we killed the giant as well.
Say that again, because you went crackly as hell.
Oh, I said, and we killed a eldritch horror as well.
Oh, and the red dragon, dude.
Oh yeah, red dragons as well.
the elven horror, I'm not entirely sure what that is, but red dragon I've heard of. That kind of thing. It doesn't matter what kind of trouble you've been in, and whether you were successful or not, or in trouble or whatever. I want to hear it all. And I want to hear it as soon as you can tell me. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I don't know whether to hug you or slap you. And she hugs you.
I
give
wait
5 gold to I give 5 gold to Nori.
I wait for a moment and then I hug her back.
Yeah. For a woman who spent most of her time either at a washboard or scrubbing floors or whatever, she's a strong girl.
Oh yeah, it's probably bear hug time, but I think Cora sort of embraces that.
Cora, it might be time to convince your lovely lady to come visit your family, since you're there so often.
That's the point where Lavinia suddenly pushes you away back to arm's length and goes, Cora's got. You better not have got married without me.
No.
Only by technicality.
Well,
Okay.
no, not even by technicality.
She looks, glares, and then Eclipse actually comes in with the save in a weird reversal.
Technically.
Not really.
Technically, not really. And she turns around and goes, "That's good, because never mind slap you, I would have killed you."
Yeah, that's probably true. So,
When am I going to meet her?
well, possibly.
You already have.
Has she?
And she,
Has she? I thought she met Nola.
I don't know.
she did
Did
meet
she?
Enola. She did meet Enola. You and Enola were an item before you
Oh
became
wait,
Cora.
yeah, right, yeah, duh, yeah. She
Yeah.
met them then. I don't know whether she'd met since, but yeah.
Lavinia hasn't put two and two together. She's got a
No,
lot on her plate right
why
now.
Would she, why would she? Because we were both dead, so why would she think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's already packed Enola into the no longer exists column of her mind.
Yeah. Actually, you have met her.
I don't. Well, I've met a few foreigners. Was it the Eladrin girl?
No.
That was about it.
No. Well, things seemed to change and then didn't. I mean, what I just did to you happened to me not all that long ago, when I thought someone was dead and they weren't.
And she's too muddled. She can't put two and two together.
No, I'm not expecting her to. It's still the same person it always was.
And then the penny drops. She's alive.
Although different.
Gods, you've answered me. Thank you.
She's not quite who she was. Or at least who we thought she was.
Did she do the whole transforming thing as well?
Kind of. She's Cora, you tell it.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's. Maybe you need to sit down again. And I try and plonk her down next to me.
Instead, she plants her feet on the ground, and it's
or not.
It's the kind of fishwife hands crossed over the kind of tucking them between the belly and the boobs kind of thing. Kind of it's a stance that has worked for centuries against many guilty husbands and iterant children. This is a magic that is greater than the gods themselves. As she plants herself firmly and goes, "Tell me."
Okay, so one of the reasons that I didn't look the same is she's, well, yeah, as Glory said, she's royalty. Her dad is.
Of another plane.
Enola's what? Is she like a bastard born or something? Bear in mind, she's having trouble getting her head around this shit.
No, she's a full-blown legitimate princess, next in line to inherit the throne.
Feral, you can come back in, you know.
No.
I'm with your pregnant sister going through like the whole spiel of like, are you okay? How far along are you? She's just sat there and it's like
Trim is just ignoring you and staring at her older sister.
No, pay attention to me. This is important. Who's your attending physician? Who's looking after you? Who's the
So yeah, Enola, turns out that Enola is the daughter of the Summer King from the Feywilds.
I'm glad that you chased it up with the Feywilds, because it's like turning around and saying I'm trying to think what the equivalent would be. around here. It's like turning around and saying, "Oh, it turns out that I'm dating Santa's son," or something like that. Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
That's exactly how it would be. Is if I went home to my parents and said, "Oh, so you know the Tooth Fairy? Yeah, I'm dating her niece."
Yeah, it turns out they're around.
She is looking at you as if she wants to get you professional help, but all the stuff that's been said so far has kind of prepared her a little bit. And she goes, "Guy with like the horns and the goat bits," and she's completely muddled up her tales, and she's talking about Prince Oberon, who is in his canon, by the way.
Yeah. No, he's different from that. But you know what?
I think he's spring. And then you have Titania, who's autumn. Anyway. Or is it the other way around? I don't know.
Who knows?
To be honest, there's a we thought once this is calmed down, I don't know if that's tomorrow or maybe in a week's time, but we could all get together for a family reunion picnic thing.
And
I slap the cat.
I move away from her sister and I move into a corner out of striking range of everybody.
Farewell did something.
There's like 3 farewells that are just like hand over mouth, hand over eyes, hand over ears on a clip.
Lavinia says, "Well, of course I want to meet her."
Well, yes, you can meet her and her father, and I mean, I don't know if it's possible for us to meet slap the cat again. For us to maybe go there for a visit. I don't know if that's possible. I'm talking in the wrong accent. I don't know if that's possible.
So yes, why not? I've just been told my daughter's back alive and is one of the heroes of the city, and I'm going to go off for a picnic with the land of the fairies. If you've drugged this fucking food, farewell, Barebones, I am going to have your head.
Look, I promise this all sounds very weird and far-fetched, and to be honest, there's something else I'm not telling you yet. But, I couldn't...
They may have made a deal with divinity to bring your dead husband back for a day.
Glory!
At that point,
But you were dancing around it. Someone had to say it.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I want to tell everybody it wasn't me.
Okay, well, I wasn't planning on actually telling her until just before he turned up. Okay, and I'm there ready to catch my mum if she falls over.
She actually just falls. She falls back into her seat, and she doesn't react at all. She's got this 1,000-yard stare. It's just too much too quickly for her.
Mm-hmm. That was okay. There's a little thing called warning shots that you're meant to do for shock situations. Farewell, can you check she's not about to die?
I send one of the farewell clones because I'm too scared to get any closer.
The farewell clone gets close enough to know that he shouldn't and backs the fuck away.
It seems it would be unwise to approach. Number 6 is very, very, very sort of intuitive that way. On to number 6, and number 6 nods.
With very measured tones, Lavinia says, "I'm going to need a minute."
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. Yeah. I wasn't sure what to do, and I was under pressure to make a decision right there and then, and it was the first thing that pumped to mind, and it seemed like a really nice idea, and now I realize that potentially messing with the entire divinity cause and the causality of the universe perhaps was not the best use of my powers, but I'm really sorry. I thought it was a good thing. Okay, that came out all at once.
Mm-hmm.
And Lavinia heard not a word of it.
Nope, all of Cora's siblings dead.
She turns to Cora and says, Speak to your brother and your sisters. I'll be right back. And she evaporates. You guys have seen Misty Step before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Fair.
Okay.
I know. I'm more worried that she can misty. Okay.
Wintercourt Warlock.
I think. Okay. Well, I
But
did
she
think.
she didn't take a pact. There's been no agreements. All she's been doing is giving gifts. That's not how this is supposed to work, right?
To be fair, I never really completely made a pact that I can recall.
That is true.
That's true.
That's not what the book says. Like reach into
Farewell.
It's not what the rule says, Strokesbeard.
I possibly made a.
I cast Generate Beard. Right, so the book says.
Well, the rules as written says.
I mean, maybe, but conscious. Anyway, that's. Oh god, so many things. So many things.
God.
Is this where we take a break, by the way, Simon?
Yeah, I'm going to take a break.
How about this? We bring out the rest of the very expensive wine and the cakes.
Aiden should be here with the ice cream any minute.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and we're going to come back to the rest of this arduous social encounter.
I just like the idea that we're introducing Cora's very small siblings to a lot of sugar and shock and expecting this to go good.
I mean, it's probably going to be like some sort of...
Right. We'll take a break. See you in 10. And welcome back. And welcome
Oh.
back to Rodrigo.
I just realized why things sound
no one
weird.
asked for me, but I'm still here. Hello.
There we go.
So Aiden walks in with like a bowl of like ice cream.
Yeah, we did actually say, Aiden should be here any minute with the ice cream. So,
Perfectly timed.
So to catch you up, Rodrigo, I don't know how much you were listening to the last part of it all.
The only thing I know is that Cora was put on blast, and I'm so sad I wasn't there with popcorn to see that.
Yeah, she managed to avoid getting slapped by her mother. So Cora has
Small
revealed
victories.
to Mar Gatherall, also known as Lavinia, that she exists, that she's not dead. And just prior to the break, Glory dropped a second bombshell and said, "Oh yeah, and we can bring back
It wasn't
your
me.
husband for a day." At which point Lavinia noped out and was just like, "Nope, can't deal with this right now. Can't deal with this right now." And Faye stepped up to her room. I'll tell you. I will also tell you as characters because as players because it'll give you a bit more of an idea of the scene you're watching at the moment. That's the first time she's ever done it. And she didn't even realize she was doing it.
So the kids react in a weird way of like, where did Mum just vanish to?
Well, yeah, one of them did. Let's see. Bree didn't notice because she's still heartily crying into Milo's shoulder.
Oh boy.
Milo was the one that was shocked, and Trim is still talking to Farewell, looked away, looked back, and her mum wasn't there. And is mostly concerned with you anyway. So.
Huh.
Aiden comes into this lovely state of a crying 12-year-old, a completely shocked 15-year-old, a 22-year-old halfling who is currently in a heated conversation with Farewell. And sure enough, you've brought these insulated terracotta pots that all have different flavors of ice cream, and you were sent on an errand.
Huh. Ice cream. That makes everything better, right?
What did you
Ice
do
cream
this
fixes
time?
everything.
Huh.
Ooh, ice cream.
I am not handing these over until you tell me what the fuck did you do this time.
We
I
just
didn't do anything
revealed the
wrong, Glory
truth.
did it all.
Cora
Sorry?
came out to her parent and siblings.
As herself.
Yes.
Yes.
She never had to come out as lesbian because or having the same-sex partner because that was known right from the start, and in this world that's not really news.
Yeah.
You know?
But
She just had to reveal that she was
she came
not
out
dead.
as alive. Yeah,
Came out as alive.
That's what she came out of. Mum, Dad, I'm alive.
Let me ask you
I
that
didn't.
you thought
You see Taro as well, which you have seen, I think, once before, but she doesn't.
I don't
look like
remember.
her.
So,
but she looks different. She looks different.
All right.
Yeah, but you see Cora's clothing and all the rest of it. But the face is
like
now that you look at it, you can see similarities between Taro and Cora. And later on, Lavinia will kind of kick herself for not recognizing her daughter in Cora. But there are enough significant changes that she can be forgiven for this.
And you thought that was a good idea because...
Well, we needed to.
It was kind of necessary to try and to reveal some stuff. Maybe we threw a little too much on the table at the same time.
You fucking think?
You were trying to say it the entire time.
No, I did not. I was resisting saying it and instead giving Cora hints.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's out now. It doesn't matter. It's probably for the best.
How is it that between a ordained cleric of the Raven Queen, someone that was raised in the streets, a fucking bounty hunter, I look at Glory and I completely skip her. I completely skip her, and someone who was raised into a almost fanatical order of monster and other fucking thing hunter, how come I am the one who has the most common sense?
Because you went for ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll take that.
Anyways, have your siblings had ice cream before, Taro?
They would have, yeah.
Yeah, I think so, but maybe not this good, really good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this is to them, this would be artisanal ice cream. Yeah. You do notice that as you're having this exchange, Milo stretches out his hand and goes,
"Oh, you need to. If you rest your hand like this, it will."
Yeah, you do notice he's trying to do mage hand.
Yeah, so I like give him a point how
he's really focusing. It's like this is the most basic cantrip, but he's like,
flick your hand this way. Flick your hand.
Then, yeah, he's ignoring you, and he goes, book. And as he does so, one of the books off the bookshelf flies off a little too dramatically. You can tell he's probably learning this in school or something. You know, this is probably like okay, we're going to do all the different subjects, and the one thing you're going to do is like mage hand, and maybe like a tenth of the kids might be able to do it. The book flies across the room to him very viciously. And
I catch it with my right hand before it like hits him in the face.
He thinks he did that, and he snatches it through the air and goes. He has a moment of being proud. Looks at.
Well, you can't see my mage hand; it's invisible.
I know. That's why he thinks he did it.
Yeah.
He looks at Taro almost for a second because he's still 15 and a boy, looking for like, hey, look what I did, kind of thing. And he puts his bowl of soup off to one side and opens up the book, quite far to one side as well, because books are important. Books are expensive here. Opens the book, starts flicking through, and stops on the tale of the Summer King. And there's a really good woodcut picture, even colored in by somebody who had access to pastels. You can tell it's pastels.
Is it accurate? Because I feel like someone once described the Summer King from the stories, and it wasn't anything like how he really was. So I'm wondering. I don't know if that was I feel like I remember that.
You're absolutely right. Many of the stories of the Summer King are either ridiculously exaggerated or he's mellowed a lot recently. So you have seen how rage-filled and excessive and emotional he can be. Some of the stories, you think they're only just a bit excessive.
Maybe before he had a daughter and he chilled a little.
Yeah. Parenthood does that to you. And he mostly just turns to the woodcut, which, as I say, has been not at the same time as the woodcut was done, but at a separate time. Somebody's come back and kind of pastel colored it in, and he holds it up and goes. Bear in mind, he's got like a blubbing sister on one side, so he's doing this on one arm. He holds it up and goes.
I mean, it's a little off, but yes.
He turns the book back and starts reading, which trying to get your brother to read historically was like trying to get blood out of a stone, but he genuinely starts reading. I mean, he's reading a book about adventure stories for the most part, and myths and legends and stuff. Even though this does say, this may be a book of myths, but the myths are actually real. And he's basically just reading up on your new family.
Ooh, that sounds almost horrible.
Yeah,
it's because it is. That's because it is.
Yeah.
So, any other important things you want to do? Is there any other families that you wanna destroy? Any other big revelations you want to like just drop on people out of nowhere?
I thought we'd just go around everyone's families and try and reveal something really dramatic and heart-wrenching. How about that?
I mean, if we do that to Glory's family, we would either have to fight a dragon. Oh no, we're gonna have to fight a dragon. There's no like other alternative that's gonna happen. We're just gonna have to fight a dragon and overthrow a tyranny. I'm on board, but I think we're all gonna die.
There's a popping sound, and I keep wanting to say Enola. Eowyn.
I always do that, don't worry.
Yeah, Eowyn pops back into existence, forgetting to make herself invisible. Walks up to the wine bottle, and pulling out like a thimble, goes boonk into the wine bottle. There's a bloosh as she fills it up, and then boonk comes back out the bottle again and goes, "Well, that wasn't stressful," and starts taking a big quaff of this wine.
What did Enola say?
Enola was wonderful. Enola's always wonderful. Just the courtiers that were around her started panicking, and she's just there and starts swilling down this wine. She goes, "It's okay, it's okay. Got them all. What's it? What's those words? Not the ones with big teeth. Ducks. I got all the ducks in a row."
Oh. Right.
And then kind of goes, "Ooh, grapes," and it just flits off to another part of the table. This, by the way, now that she's not invisible, has been picked up by, again, not the poor blubbing Bree, but Milo is just transfixed as you're literally talking to a fairy, which up until now, okay, sure, magic, person shapeshifted into his sister isn't dead. That was a lot to take in, but the whole Summer King thing seemed a little too fantastical for him, which is why he's reading to get his head around it. And now there's a freaking fairy flitting over his kitchen table, taking bites out of things.
Milo, meet Eowyn. Eowyn, Milo.
I'm sorry, where's my manners? Hang on a sec. And she's in her royal kind of courier's costume, with the little floppy cap and little satchel and things like that. And she flits down onto his book, takes a look, and kind of makes a mental bookmark in her head to say, "Get him a better book than this one." She rips off a perfect courtly bow. Courtly bow, if you have wings, has a thing that the wings needs to do as well. And she rips it off with perfect grace and says, "Eowyn Rotag, at your service, my liege." And puts in the "my liege" to just to mess with him. And he just,
of course,
smiles. I mean, he may be 15 now, which is getting on to becoming a man and all the rest of it, but there's still enough of the child in him that he just rips off this little giggle despite himself and actually looks quite self-conscious about it. And he says, charmed, and doesn't know what to do with the whole shaking hands thing, so just puts a finger out, and she kind of shrugs and fist bumps his finger.
Nice.
Milo?
And pulls his attention away from the fairy. Yeah?
Do you want some tips on how to mage hand? I saw you trying it. Oh, you did it, but some tips to make it slightly easier.
Not right now, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I think he has a lot of things to think about right now, other than,
I flick you on the nose with my mage hand.
The snottiest Bree rips her head back and goes, "If he's learning mage hand, you've got to teach me the fire thing," and points at Farewell.
Well, do we have a surprise for you then? You see, Taru is quite the master of fire nowadays.
Oh yes, that is true.
You could do fire. You could do fire too.
I'm cleaning up. Like me and the other farewells are just cleaning up, just trying to stay out of the way.
Yeah,
we've done so much damage.
Not a huge amount of this food has been eaten. There's going to be enough to certainly share it with the people in the street at this point.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, I have devoured the sashimi. I've eaten at least 2 tunas.
At least.
At least.
That would not surprise me, and I can just imagine Eclipse like staring longingly at the next tuna, but being so full that she dares not eat it.
I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I think-
at this point, Eowyn kind of leans on Cora's shoulder and says, I'm really glad that we're not going to exist in this plane of existence when she goes to sleep. I mean, can you imagine the cat farts with that much tuna?
Oh yeah.
By this point, I think Aiden is just if there's any chairs around,
Yes.
she's just gonna grab an empty one, place it like leaning against the wall, and just sit back. Is like,
I want him to grab the wrong chair, so he grabs the halfling one.
Just...
I'm grabbing a human-sized one. Thank you very much.
Yeah. One was brought for you because you were always. They always said that you would arrive. So you sit on a normal, regular-sized chair. The table is still only like a foot off the ground, but you're on a regular-sized chair.
Well, I guess someone has to keep an eye on you because I could look away for 5 seconds and this place will be burning to the fucking ground.
Don't swear, there's a 12-year-old in here.
Eclipse, he just found out that his long dead sister.
No, the little girl.
Yeah,
same deal.
They just found out that their long dead sister is not in fact dead and is actually been messing with fake creatures and can do a lot of magic and stuff. I think swears are like a little on the low on the priority list. I don't fucking care. I don't think they care.
Bree stamps her foot and says, "I'm from fucking Freetown."
There you go.
Language.
Showing oh, she just glares at you. She's like, it was like, you do not tell me what to do in my house, kind of thing.
And their longer dead dad is coming back for the day. Thank you, Hermit. That's an important
detail. The kids haven't even registered that yet. It was what broke Lavinia, but the others haven't even been able to catch up on that yet.
Yeah, I think swearing is like, who fucking cares?
What's wrong with it?
Trim walks in and sits without any hesitation, which shows you a little bit about where she's going right now. Sits with no hesitation in Lavinia's chair after brushing off Farewell, answering enough of his questions that he's somewhat sated. By the way, she's her physician is the Maloran Temple, so yeah, pretty good. A lot of midwives in the Maloran Temple, and she sits down, looks at you, and not knowing what to say, just kind of just breaks into business as usual. She goes, "So, he's a boatswain. No, what's it called? Oh, he'll get pissed off if I don't know. He makes boats. Some sort of right.
Maker.
They're always a right, aren't they? But yeah, good stand-up job. And yeah, we're getting married, and I'm gonna be a mum."
I extend.
I
open my arms for a hug, but I don't reach for her. I kind of like, it's more an offer.
She. Thank you, Anka. I thought it was a shipwright. It just didn't seem right. You know, when a word doesn't feel right on the tongue, I'm like, pretty sure it's this. It's something right. The obvious one is shipwright, but I'm not entirely sure. And she said, she turns to you and goes, "This day can't get any weirder, can it?" And goes, and when she hugs you, there's that moment of hesitation as she hugs you, and she then sits back and goes, "Oh, sorry, been on my feet all day. I hope I get it good like Mum. No multiple births." Mum was one.
I mean, that is very common with Tabaxi, the multiple births. It was very strange that me and my sister being single births, and then you had the twins.
You know what? That explains a lot. You have the energy of like 5 children in a singular body.
Eowyn goes, "Maybe she ate them."
So
That's actually a theory among tieflings that some children just eat their siblings while in the womb.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, the heavily pregnant sister turns around and goes, "Okay, I'm kind of glad that I'm a halfling."
Oh, it's your first time. So this is the card. Give it to the tiefling.
Yes, actually, yeah. No, yeah. I mean, we don't often get
Trim looks at the card and kind of reads what's on the card and goes, "No, that makes sense. That makes sense," and hands it over.
You know, we should probably have a thing where maybe Glory gives back a whole load of them each week, because otherwise we just have to get more printed, and she's going to run out of space with cards.
She's not. What you don't realize is that in her room, she's building like houses.
Yeah, she has like several house of cards.
Yeah.
These days, Nick, don't you have prestidigitation?
Do I have?
No, that's me.
I don't have it though. I have.
Oh, okay. Ironically, the one person who can make an unlimited supply of
do.
those cards is Glory.
I do have prestidigitation.
Okay,
and
there's
that-
a-
there you
yeah.
go.
Now you,
Like,
now
yeah,
you
like,
can just go like that and make a
Like
card.
if Aiden could point at everyone's character sheets to point to their class, to be like, "You're a fucking level 14, like 14 cleric, and you can't have an unlimited supply of cards. What the fuck?"
Yep. Farewell can now produce an unlimited supply of Glory.
You've been
Your experiences are not
timed.
universal cards. Yeah.
Yeah, I would do it like totally like they do in like Ant-Man, where I'd just be like, "Pah! There's
Yeah.
one."
Except they don't really last for as long as you keep the spell up, I think.
Yeah. She only needs it long enough to read it.
It's literally just for the moment of handing it over. She knows what the card says.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it evaporates a few seconds later.
Yeah, it's the gesture.
Tradition has been fulfilled. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And she goes, "Okay, I get it, but I also get why mum's. I mean, if these hid it from me, I would have slapped you."
I mean, I did bet Glory that she was gonna punch her, but she didn't. So I lost the bet.
Punches are for people she doesn't like.
Yeah.
I would have expected it. I wouldn't have blamed her. I just...
And you kind of deserved it.
Oh, you
Yes.
hyper deserved it.
Okay, thanks, friends. But yeah, I mean, it felt right at the time, and then it just felt like it never was a right time. And
It's 'cause you got
when
it too
something
awkward.
becomes
'Cause
too
you didn't-
long, and yeah,
Because you didn't do it exactly when it happened. It got too. You waited too long, so it was more
Yeah.
awkward.
I can't believe I'm agreeing with Eclipse, but yeah, you waited too fucking long.
I thought that there was still a problem, and I think we got very distracted by a lot of things. We're still very distracted by a lot of things.
Tara. All I'm saying is, my mother would have actually killed me and then raised me from the dead.
I'm trying to make excuses here.
Eowyn flies down to the card, picks it up like a fucking thing above her head, and she throws it at you.
Yeah, like Aiden goes towards Cora. Actually, wait, I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind, that was an error on my part. I completely forgot. No, that was me. I fucking
With everything flying around this table, that's probably something that a lot of people has done. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, but hang on, no,
wait,
someone said that already. No, never mind. I forgot what I was thinking. Yeah.
The Trim, how are you? Mum hasn't been able to do that before, and I know I want to talk, because but how?
Mum's not been able. There's a lot of things that Mum's done recently that she sees it almost as the world owing her, which I guess has a certain logic to it. She, after Dad, she just kept giving and giving, because as long as she was giving, she had reasons not to hurt. I mean, for her, they were like commitments. Before she died last summer, Widow Agnes around the corner, she started doing everything for her, cooking for her, cleaning for her, picking up her herbs and all that lot. And she made it a commitment. Not that Agnes had asked her to do any of it, but that was it for Mum. That's why she was needed. She's too busy. And then, she started doing for all sorts, cleaning for a few families and doing all sorts. Literally all sorts. And anything that she could get her mind to, she would prepare things. She'd write letters for people. She was always good with a quill. Anything to keep her busy until the moment where she had to go to sleep. And she'd always put that off, And when it first started happening, she thought that was it. And she threw herself into it again. She didn't question it. She seemed almost grateful,
No, it's distractions are good.
And this was a big distraction. So when every new thing came along, she didn't question it. She just started learning how to use it. That thing that she did, I can hear her upstairs. So I know she's not far. She'll find a way to make that useful. I guarantee it. Probably taking heavy objects upstairs or something like that. Soon it'll be Mark Gatherall's moving service.
The only concern is, so the story of the Summer King, yes? And the Winter Queen.
Oh, hang on, isn't that one of the love stories?
Kind of, but also like
quite the opposite, actually.
They become like mortal enemies.
Yeah, Trim doesn't know a huge amount, but Bree, when you say, they kind of become mortal enemies, Bree kind of nods as if she knows, because Bree's read a lot of stuff. Trim was very much a practical girl. Yeah. Very much a mother's daughter.
Less kiss, more stab and flaying and war crimes.
Yes, because we have some sort of definition of war crimes in this world.
I mean, considering that magic is a thing, yeah, I can imagine some things that will be considered war crimes in this setting.
I mean, wasn't the Duke taking people's souls into soul cages and forcing them to be like kind of
war crimes exist in Illyria?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's some sort of thing, even if people don't.
However, war crimes are normally decided on by the winners of the battle.
Of course,
so
of course,
of course.
That's how it works.
So you know how Cora is blessed by the Summer King. And has a lot of powers to do with. I mean, Taro has a lot of powers to do with like summer, fire, passion, that kind of thing.
Anger.
At passion, Trim raises an eyebrow in a way that kind of.
As the passion of.
Yeah, I know.
Not in that way.
She's trolling her sister. She hasn't been able to do this in 2 years.
I give her a sort of sly, smirky look.
Yeah.
And then look at her belly, thinking, you know what I mean.
Hot kettle, shut up. Yeah.
And then you have the Summer Queen, who is cold, calculating. And
at which point the little boy, I know you misspoke, but I'm going to jump on it. The little boy turns around and says, no, she's the Winter Queen. There is no Summer Queen.
Oh yes, Winter Queen, yes. The Winter Queen is cold, calculating, manipulative, that kind of thing.
I'm going to give it to the kid. Milo goes, no, that's wrong.
What is it?
Right.
You said that she's cold. I mean, yeah, of course, because she's got a frozen heart. But manipulative, no, she's sorrow.
Yeah, she's sorrow,
and
but
he actually turns the page to the sorrowful one, and then turns the page. At this point, he's got a load of snot on his shoulder, but Bree isn't on his second arm now. So he turns over, and there is a beautiful woodcut of a cold, dank cave, and sat on a rock in the middle of the cave, with her head in her hands, is a depiction of the Winter Queen. She brings all those in misery to her. But that's also all the creatures that she has in the Feywild. They are creatures of misery and sadness. That they dwell on it, they feed on it, that's who they are.
Fear and etc.
Yeah, fear, and also she does this. So the reason why I say manipulative is that she will dance around her words. So Cora, that's how we met her, Simon?
No.
Or is it just
Only Cora?
Yeah.
I think you may have heard her words once or twice, but you haven't had a conversation.
No. Taro's met her and we've heard her words, and they are, while the Summer King is to the point and direct, she dances around. That's why I say manipulative. She will never say the thing straight out.
Oh, she plays the game.
Yeah, she's like one of your family, which is the worst thing I can liken anyone to. And so your mother would have been taken in by sorrow, by losing both her husband and thinking she lost Taro and everything. And she, do you know that? Should I say this?
Go ahead, traumatize the 15-year-old boy.
No.
He's had a hard day, but you may as well just
ahead.
break him completely.
Yeah. So that's why we're concerned, because your mother might have come in contact with the Winter Court. Because she's angry at Cora because Cora is in with the Summer King.
Milo looks really, really concerned now.
Of course, it's nothing but a theory that we ask the questions because we want to make sure that everyone is safe in this situation.
Trim turns around and very blunt and to the point says, "Is that who you're worried about killing you?" And Eowyn, joining in on the, hey, let's make things worse camp, goes, no, it's just an elder demon that wants to kill us all. But in all fairness, he doesn't just want to kill Taro. He wants to kill all of you lot too.
Before anyone says anything,
he wants to kill the entirety of the world, so that does include
I am going to
guys.
turn towards the group before anyone says anything. It's like, to be fair, before Awen said anything, I was just gonna lay it on thick, so.
Hey, who's for ice cream?
Ice cream! Ice cream!
Eowyn dive bombs into it.
Okay, at least one. And I pull one towards me.
Jesus.
I like
Gods and I thought my family was a fucking mess.
To be fair, they weren't really a mess until today. I think we
They were the most down-to-earth, hard-working folk.
Yeah, whose fault was that? Hey, Taro.
You do notice that despite all of the stuff, after cleaning up and now completely soaking her handkerchief, Bree does grab one of the pots of ice cream because priorities. You're 12.
Yeah.
I feel like
copium.
I feel like I'd be sort of like hinting that the one of the pharaohs, at least, while the others are sort of doing any cleaning of any empty place, is starting to sort of load some of the still probably plenty of food onto like the magic. I don't know if can the carpet fly without someone sitting on it, or is it always?
No, you kind of have to stare it.
You either have to be on it, or you have to walk alongside, and it kind of it's like a puppy. It heals. behind
What
you.
you've not realised is that the farewell you think has been farewell is one of the not farewells. Farewell actually hasn't been there.
Right.
He's been going around handing out
Handing
the
out-
food because he's like, I'm not getting shouted at, and technically I caused all of this. And as such, it's probably best I'm not in the room. Because
Right.
therefore I will not take any abuse.
Oh,
and
he's
everyone
smart.
will not be sure which one of me is real and which one of me is one of my duplicates.
Excellent.
Fucking
Yeah.
500 AQ plays just to avoid
Getting
this type of
shouted.
confrontation. Yeah.
Modicum of responsibility, yeah.
Until someone reaches out for the farewell, grabs the arm, and are they like ghosts or are they actual physical?
No, they're
No, they're
physical.
tangible.
They
Yeah,
are.
yeah, they're
You're like
tangible, they're just
unseen
low
servants.
res.
They're slightly hazy. Like
Yeah.
No,
they're-
yeah,
they're
like
slightly
I
lower
think we
res.
agree that they basically look like the character models of like Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah. Yeah. With
Yeah.
like face.
And they split off like you're playing Maxwell and Don't Starve together. So yeah, it's but they basically I'll allow Nick to use them for anything flavor wise. If he wants to do anything significant, I will ask for spell slots.
Yeah,
So,
there'll be spell slots and rolls, but as I'm
Yeah.
just dicking about with these,
I-
yeah.
I like the
just all
idea.
pretending to be farewell. So there's like, that whole like almost in anime where like it turns into a log, the person, because they don't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
Oh
have them.
god, Naruto.
Naruto.
Except that you all look to the chair, the corner where you saw farewell standing before, and it's just polygon farewell.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
what the fuck?
I like the idea. I like the idea that farewell.
No,
goes
no,
through
it's
all
because of
this
Eclipse. When she put the illusion to make them look like waitress
Waiters,
personnel,
yeah.
it
Okay.
made them look more like farewell.
Yes.
Rodrigo, you're saying something.
No, I was just saying that I like the idea that even after farewell goes through all of this pain, all of this like 500 AQ of mind games, he still just gets caught immediately either by Eclipse or Aiden.
Yeah.
Like immediately first guess real farewell.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's just every now and again you just notice one of the farewells will walk outside with like a platter of like spare food, and then we'll walk back inside with nothing. But it's like it's the same farewell, and it's like, and then you just see it walking off as the carpet goes. It's like avoiding all responsibilities, avoiding all responsibility.
You do hear the creak of the upstairs landing again, and someone coming down the stairs and dressed now completely differently, with almost bruised eyes. You can tell she's been crying upstairs. But little bit of makeup. She's not known for wearing a lot of makeup, so it's just a tiny bit of foundation. She steps forward, Margatherall, kind of squaring her shoulders, still the leader of this household, and says, I've had to take on a lot today. So you'll forgive me my I don't fucking know. But you'll forgive my behavior.
there's nothing to forgive, really.
Well, this is a happy day. I wish in one sense that I could start laughing and singing, but I think there's going to be a moment of adjustment, frankly.
Of course.
I want to hear about your travels, and I want to hear about this danger that you're so worried about. Because if it is going to come after us, we'll be ready for it. And then there's that. You said that I'm going to see him again.
I mean, unless you don't want to. But we can do it.
Why would I not want to?
Because you'll have to say goodbye again.
Did she ever get
You will
to say
find my
goodbye
girl
the
that
first time?
after a while you realize that every day is a blessing. And saying goodbye no longer becomes a problem, really. you don't think about the goodbyes after a while. You just think about the good times. Happens with your friends, happens with your family, happens with your children, funnily enough. Goodbye is always going to happen. You can do one of two things in life. You can either walk around deluded saying it's never going to happen, or you can embrace it and take the teachings from it. Every day with your loved ones, your family, your children is a gift. Every hour, every conversation, doesn't matter. It could be about the silliest thing. You could be talking about silly old stories or telling jokes or just singing together while you're scrubbing the bloody floors. It doesn't matter. You don't think after a while about the goodbyes. You know they're going to come and you'll deal with that day as it comes. What you do is keep the goodbye as a thing in your head, because that pushes you to make the most of the time you do have. So no, I'm not worried about saying goodbye again. For one thing, if this bugger is to be believed, and she points in the way of one of the farewells, it's not goodbye, it's see you later. Either way, whatever time, whether you gave me a minute with him, or a day, or a year, you're offering me a treasure. And I'm not going to look that out of disfavor. Yes, there's going to be sadness, but I've got a handle around sadness now. It's made me appreciate that I've had things to be sad about. When I think of all those people out there who haven't got enough, those poor bloody sailor boys in the bunkhouse around the corner, they got nobody. You know what's worse than saying goodbye? Not saying hello in the first place. Like I say, wisdoms that you would have had imparted on you well before now, if you had been here.
I might have missed a few things, but I learned some stuff too.
Good. Maybe we can share some wisdoms together, yeah?
Yeah.
She goes to reach for her cup and there's shattered pieces all over the table. And there's, oh, well, bollocks. I'll have to get a new one.
At this point, Aiden's going to get up and it's like, well, I think now that, well, first reactions have gotten out of the way and all that, I think you two have a lot to catch up on. And I feel like, and I just motion up to us, I think we should not intrude any longer, something that is deeply personal.
Yeah, I suppose you won't need the moral support anymore.
You're all, of course, welcome to stay, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't want some alone time with my daughter.
Indeed. Do you want to keep some of the food and desserts, or shall we continue with farewell, giving it out to the community?
Well, that's what I'd be doing anyway. May as well make yourself useful. I always wondered what you adventurers did when you weren't off adventuring.
Fuck all, honestly.
Well,
mostly I make new enchantments.
Ah, well, at least you've got a craft. As for the rest of you, make yourself useful. She does grab some food because halfling.
Of course. Cora's like, I expect Trip.
Glory will
Trip
sneak
like
some
holding-
extra cake and like dessert stuff to the kids to the side before they go.
Yeah. Brie is probably clinging very firmly to the jar, the terracotta pot of ice cream, I'm sure.
Yeah, she chose chocolate and salted caramel. Good choice.
Good
So
choice.
yeah. And and Hermit, absolutely. Crying requires a lot of energy.
It
She's
really
gotta
does.
rehydrate. She's got reasons. Yeah, reasons.
Yep.
It is why crying is a very good way to go to sleep. Not
True.
recommended, but it works.
It does work, yeah.
And we'll address that point another time because, oh boy, there's something to unpack there.
So, yeah, she kind of gestures as you're busying yourself around the table. She gestures to Cora and to her own children to go into the front room, the receiving room, which there's one or two doilies in it, put it that way. And you go into more heartfelt conversations, which probably don't need to be in a role-playing game. And what she does say as she looks back and to the rest of you who are basically just butchering her dining table right now, and she says, I'll see you all at the picnic, and so will my family. And turns around, puts a hand on Cora's shoulder, and gestures her inside. So there we go, Kate. You've got over it. Yay! Well done. Personal storyline. Oh my god.
Oh,
You did
boy.
it. It was
All
just
good social
unbelievable.
encounters. I give bonus XP, but I don't give it out. So
You did it. It was just unbelievably painful.
Yeah. We need
Yeah,
crying
and
and ice cream.
awkward.
I mean, it's fine. Fine. Awkward conversations, fine. I don't know what you mean.
thankfully, you were saved by lots of interjection by your, let's say, issue-heavy team.
We all have issues.
Yes.
True.
A tiny bit.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, let's see, grandfather's a dragon, mum's a banshee, brought back his parents from the dead, and the only well-adjusted person there with a well-adjusted family, but unfortunately is Eclipse. So it's like I can't use my my parents as an excuse. So yes.
No.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Still different.
So yeah, far from the end. You've got a picnic with your family, the Summer King, and Enola. And also you've got the small, and I love the fact that the theories were in chat as well, the small thing that your mother might also be a warlock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the opposing team, as it were.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, your younger brother was trying to give you a little bit of advice in that case, in that
Yeah.
because he's been doing some reading.
Mhm.
But yeah,
He's
we'll
trying.
cross that bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
That was...
Anyway.
Yeah.
It was fantastic to be back. Yeah, sorry we only had a small amount of time with you, Rodrigo.
That's fine.
But yes,
Nice
we will go into more of that and then potentially a little bit of Feywild shenanigans. Because I have a feeling that Cora's going to want to have words with the fucking Winter Queen.
Definitely,
Yo,
I think feel
what
I
the
need some
fuck
backup
are you
for
doing
that.
with my mom?
Yeah. What's the deal? Okay.
Oh, bear in mind you yourself have had a little grain of her power.
I have a bit of both, so yeah. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be interesting.
Okay. And yes, once we get past this, we are going for the Heart of Juradan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you've just got one more Guardian left.
Is that
We've got
range?
two.
Is that the one that
Wrath.
was?
We have
Yeah.
two.
No, right?
No, we have two, I'm pretty sure.
How
I
many?
need to check my notes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's two.
Okay, there may
Maybe.
be two, but the path
Definitely
to
Wrath is one of
Juradan,
them.
Either way.
because once we get that sorted out, we are on the road to the Architect coming back.
We're in
and,
endgame.
yeah, and you're into Endgame. So yeah. Big thank you to everybody watching, and for being in chat and being active in chat as well. Big thank you to Hermit for the hype train and giving out all the different subs. So I can see all those popping up here. I was about to say, and also thank you to, and then I was like, nah, it's Corinne. She's resubscribed. It's fine.
Yeah.
So,
Why not thank you?
At least it's not
Thank
as
you for-
sad Corinne resubscribing as it is when I resubscribe, because I do it to get access to my own emotes.
You know,
yes, I'd like access to the art that I made. Yeah.
I mean, I just a thought that if you want more emotes, then better. BTTV is an option to make emotes that anyone can share and use.
Oh, nice. And somebody's pointed it out. Thank you, Hermit. That buried underneath all of that, Seekian also subscribed for 16 months. So thank you very much, dude.
Nice.
Right, we are going to go to raid, and then my weekend starts.
Yeah.
And Simon's gonna crash and go to sleep because
I really am. I
He's
really am. My
exhausted.
God, I've had a day.
Yep.
But
It really is a
fantastic session and
no-bones
fantastic
day,
session
you know.
yesterday as well. I'm just going to gloat momentarily, but I gave a line in session 1 that I intended to deliver in session 12, but only if I could get all the beats to go off, and we managed to do it, and it was very rewarding. And that was the cliffhanger at the end of Excelsior yesterday. If you don't know what I'm on about, just watch the last maybe 4 minutes of Excelsior last night. Yeah, I love it when that happens.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and Hermit got a first-hand experience of why I am not supposed to be in the viewer positions, because I cause chaos.
Yeah, how much did you dump? About 12,000 points or something like that?
Oh, I
Something crazy.
dumped around 16,000.
16,000, yeah, something like that. Anyway,
Almost 20. Yeah. I was nearing the 100k mark. I needed to get rid of some. And what other way than to cause
you
chaos?
burnt all of their good karma. Literally, all it was black tokens. I was like, oh, I better start spending these.
Yeah, I told you, have fun.
And thank you for lurking, Scorn.
Yeah.
Anyway, we are going to go do a quick raid, but have a fantastic weekend. And last reminder of the night, actually 2 quick reminders of the night. First of all, Halloween. We've still got slots. Not many left, but we've still got slots. So if you go into the looking for group part of our Discord and sign up to anything that you like the look of, I also have the lovely Mira from UK Podcast Zone, who I'm currently in middle of talking to what we're going to be doing in Dragon Meet in December. So that's really exciting. And she's probably going to join us for Halloween. So she's going to join one of the games for there. So that's probably where I'm going to be booting Joseph out of one of the games because he signed up to all of them. He offered to be booted out, to be fair.
Yeah, let's be real. He offered.
Yeah.
I'm intentionally not signing up because I don't feel like gore with my current headspace.
No, that's fine. I mean, there's a
That's
couple that
completely
aren't
fine.
gore. I mean, you've got things like
Ghostbusters, but I don't think
Ghostbusters.
Felicia likes Ghostbusters.
I
Yeah,
do
you've got
like
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters. I just
Kinda
don't
tempted.
want to play Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Reason. No, that's fair. Yeah.
I have no problem at all because I definitely want to play Ghostbusters, so that's fine. So yes, please
And
check that out. And if
besides,
you're
I
interested,
will
react
be
to
in
those.
every game in spirit.
Yes, actually, you will be because your art will be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And then
I have been working on frames for everything.
we're really grateful for it. The second thing is a quick reminder that if you haven't seen the link in general chat, you'll have to scroll up a little bit. But Christy got interviewed by the
You should pin it. Pin it somewhere.
Wargamer Explorer. I'll pin it. The Wargamer Explorer, I think it is, or the Wargamer Discoverer, where she was interviewed as being the Queen of Wokehammer, which was fantastic. It was fantastic to read. I wish I could be as concise as her sometimes. And so yeah, well deserved with that. And I've said we need to get her on more things.
Lisa has done it.
Anyways,
have a great weekend, and we'll see you later. Stick around for the raid. Good night.
Night.
bye everyone.
Right.